Are you tired of having big dreams but seeing the same bank account balance month after month? Because if that's you, this video could change everything. My name's Dave Seymour. I've been where you are. I started working as a firefighter with more ambition than money. And today I manage a private equity fund that's worth over $100 million, and I want to show you the exact blueprint that got me there. Look, I know that frustration. I know it. That feeling of being capable of so much more, but somehow stuck in the same place financially. I get it. The good news is there's a clear path out, and I'm about to show you exactly what it looks like. Most people think building wealth is complicated, but it's actually a predictable 5-stage process. The problem is, nobody teaches you these stages. They don't teach them in school, and your parents probably didn't know them, and the financial industry sure as hell, they're not going to tell you what you need to figure out. But once you understand where you are in this process and what the next stage looks like, everything will change. Right now, you probably fall into one or two categories. Either you're saving money, but it's not growing fast enough to make a real difference, or you're stuck in the cycle where every dollar that comes in, it just seems to go poof, right back out again, yeah? Now look, both of these situations are what I call stage one, and here's the thing, over half the population never make it past stage one. They don't. They spend their entire lives here, wondering why they can't get ahead despite working harder and harder than ever. But the people who do break through, well, they follow a specific progression that I'm about to walk you through today. I call it the 5-stage wealth escape plan. And by the end of the video, you'll know exactly which stage you're in right now and what you need to do to move to the next one. Because here's the thing, financial freedom isn't about luck, connections, or starting with money. It's really about understanding the system and how following the right sequences of moves can change your life dramatically. So let's dive into stage one. I'll show you why most people stay trapped here, and more importantly, how you can break free. Stage one is what I call recognition. This is where you finally see the trap for what it really is. Look, right now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not alone. Nearly 60% of Americans are in the exact same boat, and that includes people making 6-figure salaries. This isn't happening because you're bad with money or because you don't work hard enough. It happens because the entire system is designed to keep you running in place. Think about that. You leave school, you get your first job, and immediately you're told to start contributing to retirement accounts. You take on a mortgage, build credit, and by building credit, you take on more debt, right? Every single one of these moves puts money in somebody else's pocket while keeping you tied to monthly payments for decades. The average American now carries over $6,000 in credit card debt, has a mortgage that takes 30 years to pay off, and is told that a 6% return in the stock market is a good performance. Meanwhile, inflation is eating away at everything and every opportunity, and you can't even manage to save. This is the recognition stage, understanding that the traditional path of work, save, retire is actually a wealth extraction system designed to benefit everybody else except you. Now, most people see this reality and they get depressed, or maybe they get angry. But the successful ones, you know what they do? Yeah, they get strategic. The first move you need to make is taking complete control of your money. I'm not talking about budgeting. I'm talking about knowing exactly where every dollar goes and making conscious decisions about every one. Start tracking everything for 30 days. Every coffee, every subscription, every impulse purchase. You need to see the truth about your spending patterns because you can't fix what you can't measure. Let me say that again. You can't fix what you can't measure. Next, automate your savings immediately, even if it's just $50 a month, even if it feels insignificant. The goal isn't the amount, it's building the habit and creating separation between you and your money. Most importantly, stop thinking of saving as the end goal. Saving is just stage one. It's a foundation. But if you stop here, inflation will slowly eat away at everything you've built. Now this brings us to stage two. And this is where things get interesting because this is where most people make the biggest mistake of their financial lives. Stage two is called awakening. It's where you discover that everything you've been taught about safe money is actually the riskiest strategy of all. Let me show you what I mean with some real numbers. Say you've got, I don't know, $10,000 sitting in a savings account. You think you're being responsible. You're playing it safe. But here's where the math just doesn't play out. This is math that you probably don't want to see. With inflation running at just 3% annually, and let's be honest, it's been higher than that lately, your $10,000 losses accrue at $300 in purchasing power every single year. Over 10 years, that $10,000 can only buy what about, $7,400 could buy today. Now, you haven't lost any dollars, but you've lost real wealth. Now here's the kicker. While your money sits there losing value, real estate investors and business owners, well, they're using inflation to their advantage. You see, their assets go up in value while your cash goes down in value. This is the awakening moment. The safe strategy is actually guaranteed to make you poorer over time. But here's where most people panic and they end up making emotional decisions. They hear this and they think they need to throw everything into the stock market and start day trading crypto. That's not an awakening. That's just trading one trap for another. Real awakening means understanding that building wealth is a skill, just like any other skill. You don't become a master electrician overnight, and you don't become wealthy overnight either. The key is starting with what I call getaway investments. Simple, low-cost ways to get your money working for you while you learn the game. I'm talking real estate investment trusts that let you own pieces of commercial properties, and even high-yield savings accounts that at least keep pace with inflation. The goal at this stage isn't to get rich quick. It's to stop getting poor slowly. But here's what really separates stages 2 from stage 3. In stage 2, you're still thinking like an employee. You're still trading time for money and hoping your investments will eventually save you. Stage 3, now this is where you start thinking like a business owner, and that's where the real acceleration begins. I call stage 3 acceleration. And this is where you stop being passive with your wealth building and start taking active control. See, here's some hard truth. You cannot invest your way to real wealth on a middle-class salary. The math just doesn't work. Even if you max out your retirement accounts, even if you get decent returns, you're looking at decades to build meaningful wealth. That's also assuming, by the way, everything goes perfectly, no job losses, no market crashes, no emergencies that force you to tap into your investments. The people who actually build substantial wealth understand something different. They don't just save and invest their money. They increase their ability to earn money. You got that? This is where I introduce you to what I call the 3 pillars of acceleration: cash flow, connections, and confidence. First pillar, cash flow. You need money coming in from sources other than your day job. Not because your job is bad, but because your job has a ceiling. There's only so much you can earn trading time for money. The fastest way to create additional cash flow is through service-based businesses. Skills maybe you already have, packaged and sold to people who need them. Marketing services for small businesses, bookkeeping, web design, property management. I don't know, the beauty of service businesses is they require almost no startup capital, but they can generate immediate income that you can then funnel into investments. Second pillar, connections. See, here's something I learned the hard way. Success is a team sport. The deals that changed my life didn't come from cold calling or internet research. They came from relationships. When you start surrounding yourself with people who are already where you want to be, opportunities start appearing that you never would have found on your own. Joint ventures, investment partnership, insider knowledge about market trends, powerful stuff. But the key here is you can't just network for what you can get. You have to bring some value first. Skills, knowledge, resources, maybe connections of your own. Now, the third pillar, well, that's a doozy. That's confidence. It's a big one because without confidence, the first 2 pillars, well, they just don't matter. You'll have cash flow opportunities, and you'll hesitate. You'll meet the right people and, you won't follow up. You'll see great investments, and you talk yourself out of them. Any of this sound familiar? Confidence in this context isn't about being cocky. It's about being prepared. It's about understanding risk well enough to take calculated chances when others are paralyzed by fear. Most people in stage 3 start seeing real progress for the first time in their lives. Their net worth starts climbing faster, new opportunities start appearing, and they begin to understand why the wealthy keep getting wealthy. Not a bad insight, right? But stage 3 is also where you face your biggest test, because this is where you transition from building wealth to scaling wealth. And that requires a completely different mindset. Stage 4. This one is called expansion. And this is where you learn the fundamental difference between working for money and having money work for you. By the time you reach stage 4, you've got multiple income streams. You've built some capital and you understand how the game really works. But now you face a critical decision that will determine whether you build comfortable wealth or generational wealth. Most people at this stage make what I call the lifestyle inflation mistake. You see, they start earning more money, so they upgrade their house, their car, their vacations. They feel wealthy, but they're trapped in the same cycle, just at a higher level. The people who break through to real wealth, well, they do something different. They understand the most important concept there is in all finance, the difference between assets and liabilities. And that's how I explain it. It's simple. If it puts money in your pocket every month, well, it's an asset. If it takes money out of your pocket every month, well, it's a liability. Your primary residence, it's not an asset, it's a liability. It costs you property taxes, maintenance, insurance, opportunity cost on your down payment. Even if it appreciates over time, it's not putting cash in your pocket. Now, a rental property that generates positive cash flow, my friends, that's an asset. A business that runs without you, asset. The wealthy focus obsessively on acquiring assets and minimizing liabilities. The middle class does the opposite. They acquire liabilities and they think they're building wealth. But here's where stage 4 really gets interesting. This is where you start to understand leverage, using other people's money to amplify your returns. Now, when I buy a rental property, I'm not just buying it with my own cash. I'm using the bank's money, the tenant's rent payments, and the tax advantages to create returns that would be impossible with just my own capital. When successful business owners expand, they don't just reinvest their own profits. They bring in partners, they get lines of credit, they structure deals where everyone wins, but they maintain control. This is also where you start thinking about tax strategies, and you think about them seriously, trust you. Trust me on that one. The wealthy don't just make more money, they keep more of what they make through legal tax optimization strategies that most people will never learn about. They really won't. Real estate depreciation, business expense deductions, retirement account strategies, entity structuring. These aren't just accounting tricks. They're wealth acceleration tools that can save you tens of thousands of dollars every single year. But stage 4 is also where the real separation happens between good wealth builders and great wealth builders. Because stage 4 is where you choose between playing it safe with diversification or going all in what I call high conviction plays. And that decision determines whether you end up comfortable in retirement or whether you build the kind of wealth that creates true freedom, which is what stage 5 is all about. Yep, stage 5 is called mastery. And this is where wealth building transforms from necessity into a legacy. When you reach stage 5, something fundamental shifts. Money stops being the primary concern because you've built systems that generate more than enough to cover your lifestyle. Your assets are producing income, your businesses are running without constant oversight, and compound growth is doing all the heavy lifting. But here's what most people don't understand about real wealth. It's not about the dollar amount in your accounts. It's about the freedom that wealth creates. Freedom to spend your time exactly how you want to spend it. Freedom to take risks on projects you're passionate about because you're not dependent on the outcome. Freedom to be generous with your family, your community, and causes that you believe in. And at this stage, your focus shifts from accumulation to optimization and preservation. You're not trying to make more money, you're trying to make your money last for generations. This means sophisticated tax planning, estate planning, trust structures, and investment strategies designed not just for growth, but for wealth transfer. But here's the most important part of stage 5, and this is where a lot of wealthy people get it wrong. True mastery isn't about building wealth for yourself. It's about understanding your responsibility to share what you've learned. Every person who builds significant wealth has had help along the way. Mentors who shared knowledge, partners who brought opportunities, systems that existed before they came along. The people who reach true mastery understand that their success creates an obligation to teach others, to create opportunities for the next generation, to build businesses and investments that benefit entire communities. Now, look, this isn't just a feel-good philosophy, it's a practical strategy. And when you help others build wealth, you create a network of successful people around you. And when you invest in your community, you increase the value of everything you own in that community. Now, here's where you are right now. After everything I've just shared with you, you have a choice to make. Actually, well, you have three choices. The first choice, you can do nothing. You can close the video, go back to your regular routine, and hope that somehow things will get better on their own. But the reality remains that if you don't change your approach, your results won't change either, will they? Be honest with yourself. All right, choice number two. You can try to figure all of this out by yourself. You can spend the next few years making all the mistakes that I've made, learning the hard lessons through trial and error, and hopefully, eventually, finding your way to financial freedom. And finally, there's choice number three. You can learn from people who have already walked this path. You can shortcut the learning curve by following proven systems and avoiding the common pitfalls that most people get stuck on. After helping thousands of people build wealth, what I know for sure is that the people who succeed are the ones who take the action quickly and get the right guidance early. This is the most valuable asset you have, and it's the one asset that you can't get more of: time. Every month you wait to start building real wealth is a month of compound growth that you're never going to get back. And if you're ready to stop being a victim of the system and start using the system to build the life you actually want, hit the subscribe button now, right now, and let me know in the comments which stage you think you're at currently. Because here's the truth, financial freedom isn't just possible for other people, it's possible for you too. The only question is whether you're going to start today or spend another year wishing you had. The blueprint's right here, and the choice is always yours. And if you want to learn more about building wealth outside the traditional system, I've put together additional resources that dive deeper into these strategies. Check the link, it's in the description below, or you can visit legacywealthmasterclass.com. And look, if you got some value out of the video, be sure to like, subscribe, you know what to do, click a bell or something to get notified when I post new videos. I'll see you on the next video, and you can access it right here. Talk to you soon.